Hey there, good evening. Time for the Bronx Buzz, BronxNet's program where we talk to reporters, writers, editors, journalists, sports writers, sportscasters, he said with a good reason. And in our second segment, we talk to authors and maybe some artists and other people. But right now, the biggest sports news out there is that the New York Mets basically signed Juan Soto away from the New York Yankees. And my buddy, Howie Karpin, Bronx boy, first, last, and always, official scorer for Major League Baseball, columnist for NewYorkSportsDay.com, Sirius Update anchor, has written 14 books. The latest is a fascinating book, which he knows I love, on Sports Phone. Howie Karpin, nice to have you with us, my friend.
Always a pleasure, and especially when there's news.
When there's real news. So there's really two ways to look at it. One is the Mets point of view and one is the Yankees point of view. And then, of course, the larger point of view. So let's just start with the Mets. This is a really big thing for them off the field. And then, of course, we can talk about it on the field. Let's just get it. 15 years, $765 million.
Well, it puts them in. The bottom line is he makes them better. Let's call it what it is. I mean, he's an impactful bat, one of the best hitters in the game. He's going to bring a lot to the lineup. People underestimate impact. He's going to impact that lineup just by his presence, as he did the Yankee lineup last year. So this is an enormous move for the Mets. A culture-changing move, in my opinion, because it's something that they've never really experienced. I know a lot of Met fans are happy that they fleeced the Yankees on this, but the bottom line is he makes them better and he thrusts them into contention, even though last year was a fun year because no one expected them to be in the NLCS, which they ended up doing. They had a terrific season, thanks a lot to Lindor, who, was an MVP candidate. Now, getting Juan Soto ups the expectations, exponentially and, puts them in the realm of, what Yankee fans have experienced for years. And that is World Series or bust. I mean, this has to pay off in at least one championship, if not more. He's that impactful and he's that good. Now, there's some nonsense being tossed around. But I get from jealous Yankee fans and maybe people outside of New York that he's not a good fielder and he doesn't run the base as well. And that's a lot of baloney. I mean, he's an average fielder. He's not Gold Glove. He should never have been nominated for a Gold Glove. Mm-hmm. He takes bad routes on balls at times. He's not Gold Glove material. But you live with it because his offense certainly overwhelms the defense.
And as well as I do, and any baseball fan knows, a lot of times you can have a good lineup, but if you don't have guys on the mound who can throw and certainly play defense and do some of the other fundamental things that build winning teams, you can't do well. The Mets right now don't have a very impressive pitching staff. Do you have any names that you anticipate, or let's just kind of wait and see?
There's been, they also need protection in the lineup. I don't know if you can count on Mark Vientos batting behind them as real protection. I know the kid had a terrific year last year, but as well as I do, 1 year doesn't really, determine that to make you a solid major league player. He's going to have to make adjustments from the pitchers this season. So I wouldn't really count on him as protection. Now that brings Pete Alonso into the conversation. They're talking about getting him back. But at what price? He would certainly be a nice bat behind Soto, as Judge was last year in the Yankee lineup. Now, pitching-wise, I can see them going after Walker Buehler. He would be a nice addition on a pretty reasonable contract. I don't think they're going to pursue Corbin Burns or Max Fried. Those two are going to ask for big money. I don't see David Stearns, putting out big money for a name like that. But a Walker Buehler of that type, and they have trade chips too, to their credit.
And how about the Japanese pitcher?
I don't think he ends up on the East. I have a feeling he ends up in either San Diego or LA. they all want to go there now. So it's going to be pretty tough to lure him away from the West Coast.
I'm just going to, you alluded to it quickly. To me, as a Met fan, it's a very big thing. I think they must sign Pete Alonso. I don't want to hear that, like, well, we put our budget into Soto. And then I just think the lineup is so much better. Plus, if he had a kind of a weak year with runners in scoring position, with this guy batting in front of him, he could, Soto could do the same thing for Pete, because Pete did hit 53 homers once. He could do the same thing for Pete Alonso. So that's the way I look at it.
No, it's a good point. And, the analytical world tries to predict what's happening with a player. If I'm, we've watched Alonso since he's come up. Why can't you think that he's going to rebound from this down season, and have a better year overall? Also, you got to remember last year, all the moves they made kind of clicked. So that really doesn't happen in one season. I mean, Tyrone Taylor came through. You don't know if these guys are going to bounce back and have the kind of years they have like they had last year.
And certainly, there's no question about Alonso's fitness for this team. The fact that he's a gamer, his defense, especially on throws, is phenomenal. Anyway, let's talk about the hometown Yankees here. It's a tough hit for them. What do they do now to rebound, or number one, to fill all three outfield spots? The Mets stole another pitcher from them as well, and Clay Holmes. Where are they at, and what do you see with the New York Yankees?
Well, I think they're going to have to commit to a youngster in center field, and that's Jason Dominguez. I know he had trouble in left field last year defensively, so a narrative has developed that he may not be a good defender. He was playing an unfamiliar position, and I think he got so caught up in because every game he was out there working at it before the game. I think he got so caught up in his defense that he took away from his offense. This kid's, one of the top prospects in the sport, and he was a much better center fielder than he was a left fielder. So I think they're going to try to commit, have him win the job in center, even though they have Trent Grisham. But if Trent Grisham is your everyday center fielder, you have a lot of problems. Yeah. Aaron Judge is going to move back to right field where he belongs. Eventually, he's going to have to move to first base, in my opinion, to take pressure off his legs as he ages. But right now, that's not the plan. And then they need a left fielder, an outfielder that they're going to pursue either in free agency or via the trade market. Their infield also needs to be restructured. Now, supposedly they're in on Nolan Arenado, who reportedly would waive his no trade to come to the Bronx. Now,
but isn't he declining just a little bit?
According to the analytics, but maybe a change of scenery, will help him boost back his offensive numbers. Right. He's still playing terrific defense, is what the Yankees need in that infield, because you don't know about Anthony Volpe. He took a step back last year. They could move Jazz Chisholm to second, which would strengthen his second base position over Gleyber Torres, and they still need a first baseman. So
if they move Chisholm, they need a third baseman.
Right. And supposedly they're looking at Alex Bregman maybe to sign him, or Arenado, and they still need a first baseman. So there's a lot of things to be done here. Even if they kept Soto, they'd still have to make a lot of these moves, to fill other holes, right, which really ended up costing them in the World Series.
Do they aim for Pete Alonso? I mean, baseball-wise, he'd be a good fit.
I think they're looking at it. I think they're discussing it. He's a guy who could benefit from that short right field at the stadium. He would give Judge a little more protection than Giancarlo Stanton, who's been inconsistent, even though he's been great in the postseason. He doesn't stay on the field a whole lot. And Alonso, to his credit, he plays a lot. He doesn't get hurt a whole lot. So I think they're looking in that direction.
162 last year. They also may like, even if they don't get him, driving up the price for the Mets, make the Mets have to sweat and do it after what happened. This is, after all, a competitive sport. Howie, you've been involved in baseball at all levels for so many years. What does this signing mean for the sport? The amount of money is just crazy. And listen, ticket prices, Cost of parking, I think at Yankee Stadium, it may be $40. At Citi Field, it's been 30. That's a lot of money. I go in there, go into one of the bars, you pay $30 for a cocktail. I mean, it's a little bit out of control. And certainly if they keep spending like this, it's not going to be any less.
Very true. And you can expect prices to go up. Steve Cohen's a businessman as well as a
Yes.
baseball fan. So, yeah, I mean, this changes the price structure overall, parking, ticket prices, concessions. Look, they want to cash in on this $765 million beside on the field.
Yeah.
He's not a guy who really transcends off the field, revenue like an Ohtani does, but that doesn't matter, or an Aaron Judge. We're finding out also about his personality. He likes the money. That's fairly obvious. And now there's a report out that the Yankees didn't offer him a suite and the Mets offered him a suite. If you're that nitpicky and you chose the Mets because they offered you a suite, you better produce on the field.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to anyway.
But listen, Howie, let's not be naive. Once they put that number 22 jersey up for sale, there's going to be a lot of people who are buying it. But, listen, the prices of that stuff, you go to Citi Field, you want to buy a T-shirt, it's like $50.
I know.
It's totally
again,
crazy.
they want to cash in. And one other thing here is, out of New York, they become the new villains along with the Yankees. Again, they're going to have to experience this. The expectations are going to be sky high. It's World Series or bust this year. You're right. They need to work on their pitching. They have to improve there. But right now, it's World Series or bust for this team because that's what this guy can do for them being in their lineup.
Howie, we just got about a minute left. What about for you? You're going to be scoring another year. About how many, just to let people know, how many games you're the official scorer? We certainly have heard the announcers refer to you on occasion, both positively and negatively, but where are you at?
Well, hopefully I'll be going into my 27th year. I just did my 7th World Series game, which was a thrill again to at least get an opportunity to do a game. And I can tell you, thanks to Elias, that was my 39th postseason game overall. And if you combine my regular season numbers and my postseason numbers, I'm 8 games shy of working 1,500 games.
Wow.
So pretty proud of that record.
Well, how are you and me in our own universes? I've got 1,470 editions of Bronx Talk. So there you go. Listen, Howie, having you as a friend and a reference when I really need it on baseball is a thrill and a joy. And of course, our friendship will go on forever. Thanks so much for your time this evening.
Always appreciate your support over the years. Thank you.
All right. We take a short break. And when we come back, we do have something real special to talk about. Don't go away. Okay, back with you on the Bronx Buzz. This is going to be fun. So let's enjoy and say good evening to my buddy Kendra Hardy, who is with Crossover TV, live with Kendra on BronxNet Television. Nice to have you on the show on the Bronx Buzz. We're thrilled to see you. And right,
Finally, it's been a long time.
been a long time, but we made it. And
We
right
made
next
it.
made it. Right next to you is the good doctor. It's Dr. Dre.
Yes.
Doc, Doc,
Yes.
what's up?
Hello.
Nice to have you with us. Kendra, let's just talk about the things that you do. I mean, Dr. Dre is going to talk about World Diabetes Day, which has passed. You've got something coming up. What is it that puts you in your mind that says, I got to do these things. I got to do these things because I know you never stop. You use BronxNet's platform to do your thing
Yes.
because you
Yes.
can't stop.
Yes. I
What is
can't
it that
stop.
what is it that you think about that puts you out there and makes you want to do these things?
Well, I think is that we have a situation where so many people need what we have, like our hope, and we need to bring that to television. We need to bring the doctors. We need to bring solutions to people that tune into us every day. And I think that for autism, we bring the doctors, we bring the vendors, and we just bring so much. We bring gifts, we bring cheers into the homes of everyone. So we went out one particular 14th. This is our 14th annual toy drive. The Male Awareness Foundation, Mickey Benson, that would be Ice-T's manager, alongside Jamil Flores, the Aquarius Boys, and Uncle Chase Foundation, and so many others that tag along. But several years that we've done this drive, it's just been amazing. We went out during COVID. We went to every borough, and we just kept loading up our cars and just going. We wore a mask. I took my son Isaiah, and we went into the homes of others, and we made their day. And you know what? We're life changers. We want to change lives every day.
And
And
one sec, just to finish that point. This to me and I've been doing what I do for a very long time. This to me speaks about the best of the Bronx because people in the Bronx, we don't wait for other people to do it for us because they never did and they never will. So we take care of ourselves. We use our own media. We use our own resources. We talk to our own people and we make it happen, right? I mean, that's
yes,
why you and I
yes.
are kind of on the same page.
Yes, most definitely, Gary. I appreciate everything that you do over there, and we love you. So we
Okay,
love
I
you truly.
appreciate that.
I saw you on my way. Well, I gotta tell you guys this story. I saw
Oh,
Gary on. I'm telling them. I saw Gary on the way to my studio, and I had two young ladies with me, and they were really young because we bring like young interns so we can get them at that peak age to intern with me, so that we show them and teach them and let them know that there is hope and there is a lot to do in life. So we want to mentor them. And so Gary stopped whatever he was doing. He just finished his show, and he stopped and he did like a photo op with the girls. And I just
okay.
wanted to say thank you so much for who you are, Gary. I love you.
I really appreciate you saying it. I mean, we all do what we feel passionate about. And when people have young people around in the Bronx, we got to educate them and bring them to the next level and show them the big O word, opportunity, because it is there and it is in the Bronx. Let's move the camera over to our buddy, Dr. Dre. Dre, nice to see you. Thank you for joining us. Just talk a little bit about the whole effort about diabetes and your own situation, which in some ways, I guess, would say is unfortunate, but you're trying to turn it into a positive, aren't you?
Absolutely, Gary. Thank you so much for having me here today. The beauty of working with Kendra and Chris Norwood, dealing with trying to cut out the amputations and step up and do better for ourselves with diabetes. So World Diabetes Day was on November 14th, but every day is World Diabetes Day because so many people are affected with diabetes, whether it be type 1 or type 2. And me, myself, being a blind amputee and a type 2 diabetic, I consider myself to be super bad. There's nothing that I cannot do because of this disease, because of my amputations. I'm unstoppable.
You can't stop. And let's be real honest. In the Bronx, we don't mince words and we don't mess around. What did you not know when you were growing up and learning and your diet and everything else that you want to communicate to other people that they should know so that maybe they don't get into the situation you got in?
Well, first of all, diabetes exploded after World War II and the Korean War when our GIs came back home, and we decided that our mother's father's food wasn't good enough for us. So we decided to go out and, have it our way, or, go da 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 da. And we were loving it. And unfortunately, we didn't know the damage it was doing to our bodies because we weren't getting enough nutrition, we weren't getting enough exercise, and we weren't getting enough education. So what we're trying to do here is not only educate, not only bring forth new paths, and we're bringing back the paths that we really should have grown up with. We're bringing more greens, beans, onions, mushrooms, berries, and seeds to our diet and our nutrition. And a good friend of mine, Dr. Furman, told me about that G bombing, which was as simple as what I just said. Get more greens, get more beans, whether they're black beans, pinto beans, in your diet. Get more onions, get more mushrooms. Now, I know some people are thinking of one mushroom, but we all know about mushrooms. And then there's berries, strawberries, blackberries, blueberries. I'm a berry, you're a berry. There's Chuck Berry, there's Rick Berry.
There you go.
You get the berries into it. And then there's seeds, cheese seeds, flax seeds, hemp seeds, all kinds of seeds that help our bodies work best for us. So again, I consider myself a food addict. I always raise my hand and say, yep, you may want to walk into those arches. You may want to have it your way, but double down, get more salads, get more produce, get more fruits into your body. Simple as that. That's a start.
Makes a lot of sense. I wouldn't be fair if I didn't ask you, because it is the Bronx and it is who we are. And in some ways, music fuels everything in our borough. Just talk to me about music and what it means to you and what what being part of kind of this whole movement has meant as far as your sustenance, because for me, music sustains me every day. I told my wife I can't put on my socks unless I got music playing in the house. So just talk to me about your passion for music and what it has meant to all of us in the borough of the Bronx.
Well, as simple as being in the Bronx, one of my aunts was there with her two daughters, and I was always fascinated with the music. When I went to go see great people like Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, of course, the Incredible Cool Herc, and the one and only Africa Bambaataa, and the Zulu Nation, aka Soul Sonic Force, with that planet rock vibe. Music's always been there for me. I've been on the cutting edge, dealing in rap music and dealing with hip hop culture since its inception. So when the great king of rap, Curtis Blow, was doing his things, DJ Hollywood in the place to be, and all others, the Funky 4 plus one more, my girl Shot Rock, and can't forget the Cold Crush Brothers. Music is always provided the inspiration, the exercise, and the voice of the borough. But I'm gonna tell you, there's nothing like hip hop music. You like it because we use it. Most DJs won't refuse it, and all the boroughs decided to choose it. So me being a Long Island guy, coming from Newcastle, Westbury, in Nassau County, I was always in the music vein. And again, if you got that movement, if you move your body, if you know how to dance, you know about putting that beat on and shaking that booty. That's what it's about.
Well, I'm gonna add one more thing. Not only is that what it's about, but if you do that and you eat healthy, you'll live longer, you'll be happier, you'll be able to dance more. It's more than for hip hop, more than just the music. It's a culture, it's a way of life, it's a way of thinking. I mean, we know all that. And anyway, Kendra, let me ask you something else about Dr. Dre. When you do like some of the events you do, or even getting the opportunity here to talk on television, talk to me about the impact that it has when you bring someone like, and there's nobody like Dr. Dre, when you bring Dr. Dre. Yeah, when you bring the good doctor along with you, it has impact, right? It gives you a louder voice, doesn't it?
I don't know if it gives me a louder voice, but I think it reaches to people at home and it gives them like some kind of like a spark. He puts a spark, he just needs to start speaking. And I think that's amazing that he can do that. He can just do it. So I'm glad he does that, and how he does that, so that the community just gets lifted up. We have to lift them up with, with people, with things. So when we do this, just like when we do this event for the Christmas event, we've brought
Right.
out, as he said, Soul Sonic Force, Planet Rock, Planet Rock. Mr. Biggs has been part of this forever, since the beginning of the toy drive for autism and folks that are differently able. So, we've had all these people he's talking about have actually been a part of. So we always have hip hop culture involved in everything that we do. So that's really a blessing. So we got to keep doing that. And I want to remind folks that are tuning in to you, Gary, that come on down to three.
I was just going to ask you, give me the specifics so we know exactly where and
Yes.
when, and then of course ongoing so they can participate.
Yes, so they can come out and get free gifts, toys, clothing. We're going to feed you. We're going to entertain you. Bring your children out that have autism, that are differently able, not just autistic, but if they're differently able. We're going to make sure you have toys, food. You're going to come on stage. You're going to dance with me. I host this thing every year, and we have a blast. And we always bring celebrities. So come on out to 339 Morris Avenue, and it's PS 168X. in the Bronx. Come out. We have invited the mayor out to this event. We have invited the Bronx Borough President. She attended last year. We have invited we've invited Jamal Bailey's office to come out. They're going to be donating some toys. We want to thank all the people that donate every year, but we have amazing things planned. We had a dome last year. We've had Roxanne Shante.
The one thing that you didn't mention, it's Sunday the 15th from 2 to 4 p.m.
2 to 4 p.m. Yes.
Just be there. 339 Morris Avenue, right in the heart of our borough of the Bronx. Dre, I really want to thank you for embodying the best of us, really.
No, thank you.
Regardless of what you've been through, you just be doing it.
Thank you.
That's it. And Kendra,
I haven't stopped, so don't look at us like, oh, because some people try to talk about me and say, oh, Dre's and he's struggling a little bit. I ain't struggling. I get up and I move. I do what's necessary. So when you come out on Sunday, we're gonna get it on like it's never been gotten before. So don't worry about this rock, Planet Rock. We're gonna play that beat. We're gonna play that beat, and we're gonna look for the perfect beat. So don't be afraid. And remember, South Bronx. We're gonna do this. This is what we do.
I have nothing else to say. Thanks, guys.
We love you. Thank you, Gary.
Thank you, Gary.
We got to run. If the curtain don't fall, the creek don't rise. We'll be back next week.
Yes, we love you, Gary.